Hello, welcome to the Comic Book Club. I am your host, Jamil Payne, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Amanda Conan. Amanda, how are you doing?
I'm doing great this morning.
That's great. So, Amanda, I just want to say, happy anniversary. This is our anniversary episode.
1 year, we made it. 52 weeks.
Yeah, and I just knew this wasn't going to last 4 shows. I just knew, like one of us was going to flake, or like I was going to get tired of editing this shit, but we still here.
Yeah, and you've been doing a great job. You're getting so fast at turning around the episodes.
Yeah, sometimes. Most of the time, but some days. The reason these episodes are sometimes so short is because, well, come to find out, I do a lot better when the show is right at an hour. Speaking of which, this show will be way more than an hour. Because, Amanda, we have to get through week old news because San Diego Comic-Con was last week. And a bunch of stuff came out of that.
This has been an insane week for comics in general.
Right. So, now we can't get through everything. So, I just got the things that maybe is like, you know, I got through like the big news and like stuff that we may be interested in. So, yeah. I got 2 specific stories, one for you, one for me, okay? So, first story that I would like to bring up is, now this was announced right before San Diego Comic-Con, but this is what's the word I'm looking for? Pertinent to my interest. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has just announced a comic crossover.
Woo! Finally.
This is not the first time the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles have met, Amanda.
They did it on TV, right?
Yes, Power Rangers in space. So they were like third-rate Power Rangers.
Okay.
Wow. And with the live-action TV show Ninja Turtles, which is like fifth-rate Ninja Turtles. So I tried not to think about that episode because that was terrible. But yes, it did happen, and I did watch it. It's written by Ryan Parrott, who is the main writer of both Power Rangers comics, and it is illustrated by Simon D. Mio, who I'm not for sure anything else he's written. It says the Venom Annual, and and the covers will be done by what's his name, Dan Mora, who's just probably the best comic book Power Ranger artist around. So Amanda, what do you think about this?
I'm just remembering how we read the Power Rangers last summer.
Right.
And it was so enjoyable. And then also thinking about us reading the Ghostbusters comics, I'm just kind of down with indulging in like licensed fun for a while. I'm excited for this. And I'm also really excited because as soon as this was announced, I definitely started seeing some really killer fan art out on Twitter. Because this is the sort of idea where everybody, every artist is like, oh, I'm going to do like a warm-up, pin-up sketch that could be like a cover type thing. Like it's a great idea, and everyone kind of wants to play around in that sandbox a little bit.
I mean, like Power Ranger art is some like the best art like out, in my opinion. I sent this to you, but I just got the Power Rangers board game and everything that goes with it.
Okay.
And all the art is done by Dan Mora. Like Dan Mora is a tremendous Power Ranger artist. He does other things, and I'm like a fan of his in general now. But like he did all this wonderful box art for this Kickstarter board game that I paid way too much money for. Look, I don't even know how to play board games, by the way. I find them kind of boring.
They usually come with rules.
Yeah, what? You don't say.
Well, I mean, I play board games with my friends, and they just try to like explain the game to me. And I always have to say, like, no, dude, they come with rules. Just give me the rules. I always accuse my friends of trying to cheat. Well, like they're going to tell me the wrong rules so that they can win.
So my thing is,
they generally come with rules right in the box.
So my thing is, board games like this has always been like a step too far. As far as nerd shit, as far as like nerddom goes, I'm like, you know what? I'm Like, look, I do a lot of stuff, but I'm not about to sit here and play Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, like, adult board games y'all about to have me sit here play. Number one, I don't know that many people that play them, so I technically I don't have no one to play this with. So I just spent like $260 because it comes like really cool figures, and like maybe I'll teach myself how to play finally. But yeah, I just want to touch on this because this is cool news. I'm glad that this is happening. It starts in December.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Amanda, this one is for you.
All right.
Did you see the Picard trailer?
I did see the Picard trailer.
So, Amanda, number one Star Trek fan that I know. What did you think of the Picard trailer?
I'm scared because we're getting really, really good at making very good trailers.
Right.
Like trailers that are better than the movie. And this trailer seems to be promising me almost everything I've ever wanted in my entire life. And it can't possibly deliver at the level I'm expecting. I am really, really excited to see Jerry Ryan back as 7 of 9.
Yo, that right there blew my mind. But it makes complete sense.
Yeah, the 7 of 9 Locutus conversation is something that fans have like really, really wanted to see since she first showed up on Voyager. There were a few. She mentioned Locutus once or twice in Voyager.
Right, I remember that.
And it's such a, it is like one of the outstanding issues is Voyager ended and we didn't actually see what happened when they got back to Earth. So I also feel like with Data, I mean, Data's supposed to be out of the picture because of Nemesis. I feel like it's uncertain to me what's actually going to be happening with whatever character Brent Spiner's playing. But I feel like 7 of 9 would adequately fill that role of Data. So I really hope she has a strong part in this because I feel like they would have a good dynamic and she would continue that sort of like pursuit of humanity through being like, you know, too logical or something. But yeah, and I mean, in terms of like visuals, it looks great. Everything looks great.
Is it just me? Yeah. Did they make him look older? Like, I know that's weird to say because he's pretty old, but Patrick Stewart looks good for his age, and they seem to put like 5 extra wrinkles in his face.
You know, I'm not sure. It may have just been.
He sounds older too, and like I've seen him in stuff, and he doesn't sound as old as he does in this.
I mean, I got a serious Logan vibe from the whole thing.
I was just about to bring that up. This is old man Picard the whole way.
Yeah. I think I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I found out they made him look a little older, but I feel like maybe they just didn't make him look younger, you know? Like
okay.
maybe they just like were like we're gonna not dress you up at all. We're gonna, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Because we're so used to seeing everyone in like makeup and whatever and looking pretty. That might just be like under lighting how he really looks now.
It looks really good, man. I'm gonna say this. This is what a Luke Skywalker movie should have been.
Yeah.
Like instead of him drinking blue titty milk on a desolate planet, I would love like a one more go. Cause like that's kind of what we got with Logan. That's what we getting with Picard. Ash came back for his own show for the Evil Dead. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
And I kind of feel like we would rock with that with Luke. And I look at this point. I know they say people who don't like The Last Jedi are like, you know, sexist or whatever. I don't give a fuck. Look, I thought the movie was okay. You could have did better with Luke. Like, Picard is getting the treatment Luke should have got. Do you think any other people come back? Like you know, is Riker going to show up?
So my understanding is Jonathan Frakes is directing at least 2 episodes. So he will also be back as Riker. Marina Sirtis is also supposed to be back as Troy.
Yeah.
They've confirmed that they are still together because everyone was
Yes.
like, I am going to be so fucking pissed off if the drama is that Troy and Riker are divorced or something. So that's pretty much been confirmed. The other big drop was that the guy who played the guy who played the Borg, Hugh,
Yeah.
is back as Hugh.
Really.
Yeah, so I don't know if that will be like a pervasive theme throughout the series, if this is going to be like a Borg thing, or if there's just going to be one episode kind of resolving old Borg conflicts.
Let's be real. This show's probably going to revolve around the board because it has to, right? It's Picard.
Well, I mean, it could. I know a lot of people, because the teaser referred to something bad happening in Picard, something bad happening where Picard left Starfleet, and it's not clear that that was just Nemesis. A lot of people were suspecting that this takes place after Romulus is destroyed. So Spock doesn't save Romulus and gets thrown back into the Kelvin universe.
Right.
And this is Picard in the universe that was left behind after that. And so that the disaster where Romulus was destroyed may have been the tragedy. So some people were expecting this to be a Vulcan-Romulan reunification story.
Wow.
Sorry, I spend a lot of time.
No.
The Daystrom Institute on Reddit looking into theories.
No. I completely understand. Like, hey, that's why we talking about this. Now, there's a mysterious girl in here who clearly could be Vulcan or Romulan.
Yes, another popular theory is that she could be Lal, Data's daughter. I know, right?
Oh shit!
There are no bad options here.
Oh, my heart just skipped a beat. Oh.
Well, and it's funny because it's fan servicey, but it's like good. Another theory I've heard is that she could be Sila's daughter, so that would be
wow.
Tasha Yar's partial Romulan granddaughter. I mean, people are just like throwing shit out there though. This reminds me of, I haven't watched Discovery season 2 yet, but on Reddit there was a solid 2 months where every single post was just people making gross speculations about who the Red Angel was. Right. And like we're almost at that level of people just throwing out shit and seeing what's
anyway. I think you're probably closer to the truth than you think you are, because clearly she's somebody's important and somebody's from the past. So,
well, but then again, they're really good at making trailers these days.
They are. But look, you know what, though? Discovery, I heard, is good. So I have all the faith in this. In this show. Look, I'm watching it regardless, okay? So it doesn't matter. They got my money. You know, I was literally taking money out my wallet and just throwing it at the computer. Just take it. Just take it all.
So are you going to get CBS All Access then to watch it?
Yes. Yes. Do you want my password?
I mean, well, for Discovery, I actually just waited until season 1 came out on DVD and it was cheaper.
But are you really going to wait for Picard?
I might.
What? Man,
I don't know. I got a lot of comic books to read.
Man, look, no, you will not wait for Picard.
Okay, all right.
Not only are you not going to wait for Picard, we're going to dedicate an episode to talking about Picard once it's over with.
Awesome. If you want to tie some comics into that, I know that there was a IDW Star Trek Mirror Universe series.
There was.
Where they drew Picard as a pirate, and it was kind of hilarious and
awesome.
Did he
have a beard?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, then I would definitely read it then, as long as he has a beard. Okay, I hope LeVar Burton shows. I hope Jordy shows up, because LeVar Burton is a national treasure at this point.
Yeah.
And who else? Do you think Q gonna show up?
I mean, I already Freudian slipped that out. Yes, I hope that Q shows up. But I hope that he's not overused, though.
But here's my question with Q, right? for how this series look. And this is gonna sound weird for a Star Trek series. It seems more quote unquote grounded as far as Star Trek series go.
Yes, I know what you mean.
I don't know if Q fits into what they're going for. I could be wrong, and they could make it work. I'm not down that they can't. I'm just saying, from what we know of Q and from the tone of this trailer, Q and this trailer don't quite mix to me in my mind.
No, that is a really good point. I was actually hoping that John DeLacy, the guy who played Q,
right,
would just show up as like a cameo in the background, and that like Picard would talk to him and be like, "What are you doing here?" And he would actually just be a normal human who happens to look like Q. And that it would just be like a 30-second bit, and he'd be like, "You're here. You must know what's going on." And the guy would be like, "Do you want to sign for your package?" Like, "Sorry, sir, this is a McDonald's drive-through. Like, I don't know what you're talking about."
Just go ham on Q. Just start yelling and cussing them out.
Yeah.
And do like, what the hell? Okay. So, is there anything else you want to say about the Picard trailer?
Only that I love really shitty fan theories. So please find me on Twitter and tell me about who you think the girl is.
I'm gonna be honest.
She could also be Naomi Wildman from Voyager. What? Okay.
I wouldn't know.
Okay. Anyways.
Yes. Okay. Next piece of news, because we're gonna burn through these. The Eisner Awards.
Yes.
Tom King won four of them. It was almost a clean sweep for King.
Yeah.
Cause he's just he's the darling right now, right? He, like everything he does apparently turns to gold.
Yeah. I was also very interested to see Jeff Lemire got something for Gideon Falls.
Yes, I'm looking at it. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Zdarsky also won for best single issue.
Yes.
Yeah, best new series.
Yeah, I heard that Gideon Falls was very good. I've been reading some other Jeff Lemire stuff, and I hadn't picked this up yet because this is not the prettiest art on a current Jeff Lemire ongoing. Descender Ascender is very like pretty,
Right.
But I've heard so many good things about this, I may have to pick it up too.
Okay. Let me see here. So yeah, just another thing is Tom King, which is going to probably cascade into the next story. Tom King won for Best Limited Series, Mr. Miracle. He also won for Best Graphic Novel Reprint Division, a book that we actually did for this show.
Yeah.
Reprint. He won for a reprint. And that's some shit. Best Writer. Tom King, Batman, Mr. Miracle, Heroes in Crisis, Swamp Thing, Winter Special. And what else did he win for? What was that, 3 or 4?
I lost track.
Good job. Good job. That's why you're here.
Doing literally the minimum amount of work I can do.
That's why you're here. Thanks. Okay, you know what? Look, he won a bunch. Okay, he won like 4. Zdarsky won 1. We just reviewed one of his books. Lemire, we're probably going to review within a year and a half. For when the Hawkeye series with Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, when that is a thing.
Oh yeah, that will be a thing. Todd Klein won for lettering. Surprise.
Not really. Like, I seen that and I wasn't even going to mention it because okay. Like it didn't even.
It's just really funny because it's like if you ask people if they can even name a letterer, it's going to be like one of 3 guys. So it's just really funny that they like who expects to win that award against Todd Klein.
They also had like their Hall of Fame induction, and it's weird. Some of these names I thought would already be in there, like Paul Levitz and Bill Sandswick and Jim Aparo and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Oh yeah.
So like they actually got inducted into their Hall of Fame. Now I was thinking to myself, it's funny because like we really should save this list of winners because all this is probably future comic book club reading material.
Yeah.
Every single piece of it. Let's see here. Who won for best series? Who won the big book?
Um, best continuing series.
Yes.
Best continuing series was Giant Days.
Giant Days. Yes. There we go. Thank you. So, have you ever read Giant Days? Have you heard about it? What do you know? What could you tell us about Giant Days?
I mean, just that it's one of those books that I've seen, but for some reason I've never brought home with me. Which is, I think, I think it's one of the importance. I think it's something important that in the industry awards do here is that, like, because these are voted on by people in the industry. Like, this is other writers, Oscars, other artists. Yeah. So getting an endorsement, getting like an Eisner or a Harvey Award is like, it's better than a pull quote. And it's also better than like a New York Times bestseller thing.
Really? You
because
think so?
that's well, okay. Because that's just telling you that a lot of people bought the book. It's not telling you that like a lot of people thought the book was good. Yeah, I mean, I generally look at the nominee lists and say like these are things I should definitely check out.
So I'm looking at Giant Days, and it looks a lot like Smile, which don't mean it's a bad thing, but it's one of those type of books it looks like.
Well, and that maybe explains why I wouldn't have brought it home, is because I'm looking for like when I buy physical copies of books, I'm looking for like really incredible art.
Right.
And if it doesn't look super impressive, if I have to actually read it to appreciate how like the visual storytelling's working, then I just want it to be pretty, and I want there to be like colors and like extra stuff all over the place.
You about to say shit?
Yeah, I was. It wasn't necessary though.
No, it wasn't, but I said it anyway. So, but you are so shallow. No, I always say I don't care about art, and like while I learned this, I do care about art. I just don't want my art to be intrusive. But when your art is like bad or like weird, and it's just like I can't read this.
Well, I don't care about the art for reading it. I care about the art for owning it.
Ah, okay.
Right? So like if I'm going to buy a physical copy of a book and bring it home and leave it in my house, it needs to be like the complete package. Like it needs to look really good too.
Look, that's why I think DC stuff like that's why I think that we tend to like DC stuff is because like they clearly have a directive for their art. Like they clearly have like this has to be a certain way. I don't think Marvel has that, honestly, like a lot of the times.
Right, which just makes Marvel a little hit or miss. Like sometimes it's amazing because they have more freedom, and sometimes it's like this didn't really work.
Right, exactly. So those are the Eisners. I mean, congratulations to everybody that won. I'm sure Eisner winners listen to this show. Probably not. Okay, let's move on to speaking of Tom King. Mr. Miracle's creative team has announced their next book, which is Adam Strange. Tom King and Mitch Geraghty is doing the Adam Strange comic starting next year at the top of the year. So do you have any like we haven't read Mr. Miracle yet, but like we have read The Vision. Do you have any feelings about this being his next deep dive into a character type book that he does? Like once a year, it seems.
Well, I mean, I don't really know anything about the Adam Strange character.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's...
But hey...
I think it might be a good choice because that means he can't mess it up. And I think it may also be a good choice because if it's a character that he likes, this is going to give a bump to like other Adam Strange stories because people are going to look into it.
Adam Strange is one of those characters that look really cool.
Okay.
But like, because he looked like a 1950s sci-fi spaceman, which is probably when he was invented, right? That's like, you know what I'm saying? It's probably like, with the jet with the jet pad and like the
Like,
white.
is he like kind of a Rocketeer type looking dude?
Yes, yes, he is.
Nice.
And
Okay.
I think the premise, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm a bad comic book fan, so I should know this off the top of my head, is that he teleports between Rand and Earth like uncontrollably. I think it's kind of like a John Carter of Mars type thing, I believe, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. I think, don't quote me on that. But with Adam Strange, there's not particularly any good Adam Strange stories that I can think of at the top of my head. Not even in Pat.
So Tom King can easily write the best one ever.
Exactly. Like just like not off the top of my head. Like even stories that I've never read. Like, oh, I heard this story for this character is good, at least even though I haven't read it. I've never really heard that about Strange. At least not by himself. I heard him being good in other stuff maybe, but never by himself. So I think Adam Strange is a good choice for this type of thing. Personally, I thought it was going to be Wally West, because I thought Wally West is definitely due for something like that. Wally, especially after what he did with him in Heroes in Crisis. So, okay, we can move on from that, and we can move to Jonathan Hickman and his X-Men relaunch.
Yeah.
So sit back, Amanda. We got a lot to talk about here. No, I actually read the first issue.
Okay.
It's some Jonathan Hickman shit. I can tell you that much.
I heard there were infographics.
I mean, it's the most Jonathan Hickman that Jonathan Hickman can ever Jonathan Hickman.
How many Hickmans could a Hickman hick if a Hickman
Hickman
could hick Hicks?
Yes, exactly. Now here's the thing, right? I don't know if I like Jonathan Hickman. I read almost his entire Avengers run, right?
Okay.
And that shit is like heady and it's like deep in sci-fi mysticism, I guess is a good word for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the characters come off a little cold sometimes. But to me, he's like a better Grant Morrison, which I know is blasphemy because I know like Grant Morrison is sanctified. But I'm really hit or miss with Grant Morrison, like heavy sci-fi ideas a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And I find Hitman, while I do find like some of the stuff he writes cold, I do find it a lot more enjoyable and more, I don't know, accessible.
Okay.
And that's kind of what X-Men is. I'm, as you know, I don't buy single comics, but you know, these two miniseries that he's doing, they're alternating weeks. I think I'm gonna buy every issue.
Okay.
Every week, I think I'm buying every issue of this.
So let me ask you about the experience of actually getting a copy.
Oh no! I bought them Comixology. I ain't going no store.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to tell you, we have two comic book stores in my area.
Right.
And one of them is smaller and is moving locations right now.
Look,
So
go ahead.
So I went to the bigger one, and I actually went in there to see if they happened to have the book that we read this week in a trade. And we looked it up, and they were like, oh my gosh, the last time John Byrne's Man of Steel was printed as a trade was like 2010, and if you wanted a copy of it now, it would be like $90. And I'm like, DC, why won't you take my money? But anyways, while I was in there, so not my normal comic book store, they were having a midnight release party for Hickman's X-Men.
Hitman is the best writer they have over there now.
Yeah, and they said, because, you know, I've been back, they were sold out by like noon on Wednesday.
Wow.
And then I went to the other store, and my other store still had like some variant covers from this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was actually in a third comic book store. I was downtown DC this week in Phantom Comics, and they were also completely sold out. They said they were sold out like by Thursday.
Wow.
And that they had a lot of traffic in and out of the store of people asking for it.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, this is just like insane. So, like, in this area, 2 out of 3 stores were sold out in like 2 days.
I haven't read X-Men on a regular basis since Joss Whedon was on it. And that was about 15 years ago. Like, I'll dip in and out.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of it is not good. Like, you know what I'm saying? You could tell.
Was that the Astonishing run with John Cassaday?
Yes, it is.
That was a great one.
Yes, that's a great run. I was actually going to suggest we do that for the show, actually, not not in the near future. I was thinking about doing Astonishing X-Men, but no, I haven't read X-Men, and like there's a lot that has to do with the de-emphasizing of the book of the characters within the universe. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because no
Well,
movie.
yeah, a lot of people were speculating Marvel was doing that because they wanted the Fox movies to fail.
Right. I mean, you know what? I agree. They've always denied that, right? But like,
Yeah.
there's no mistaking that they was de-emphasizing the mutants, and they was trying their best, Amanda, to push the Inhumans. Like
Yeah.
just the Inhumans. Some of the shittiest characters, which we're gonna get to later, by the way, when we get to the MCU news, right? Some of the most shittiest, boringest characters in the in Marvel. They was trying to make the new X-Men. They had like 7 books, and they all failed because nobody cares. Like it's almost like they got too big for their britches and thought we can make anything big if we just push it hard enough.
Yeah.
If we just give it enough promotion, if we just push it, we can make the Inhumans a thing, and the humans would never think. The reason Miss Marvel, the little Indian girl, is an Inhuman is because, and not a mutant, is for that specific reason. And it's weird, man, that she's an Inhuman. Like, they need to retcon that shit tomorrow, yesterday. But no, so yeah, at San Diego Comic Con, they announced 6 new X-Men books. So they're going all out for this new relaunch. Just a list of the books, we have X-Men, which is just written by Jonathan Hickman and drawn by, was it Linnell Francis Yu? He's a very good he's a drawer. He's a very good artist. and it's weird too because it's literally the whole Summers family plus Wolverine. So Wolverine just looks like he's crashing a family reunion on the cover.
Just their weird uncle, like that, like dad's friend who you just call like Uncle George, but he's not really related.
Yeah. The abusive drunk uncle is it's Cyclops. It's Jean Grey, his wife or whatever she is, who knows. Rachel Grey, their future daughter from an alternate dimension. Don't ask. Kid Cable, which is a younger version of Cyclops, and Madame Pryor, a clone of Jean Grey's son who got a disease that went to the future to save him, where he became like an old hardened warrior.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And people wonder why I don't like 90s comics, because I tried to read that shit when I was like 7, and it was incomprehensible. Havoc, Cyclops' brother, Corsair, their dad, who was a space pirate, and Vulcan, their third hidden brother that they didn't know about until about 10 years ago. And Wolverine in his brown suit. So it's literally the whole Summers family and this guy. Because you can't have an X-Men book without Wolverine. Like, I hope he plays with that a little bit, right? Like, he has to play with that, right?
Yeah.
Also, I think another thing I think they're doing too that I love is they're back to giving X-Men good uniforms again, because I feel like the last 10 years of uniforms for X-Men have been terrible, and the X-Men used to have the best comic book uniforms around, and it seems like they're going back to like better designs. In some cases, classic designs, or in some cases, something reminiscent of classic designs, but with like a super update. I appreciate that. So okay, X-Men. That's the one written by Jonathan Hickman. Marauders, which is written by Jerry Dugan. That's the team of Emma Frost, Bishop, Pyro, Captain Kitty Pryde, Iceman, and Storm. And they're pirates.
Ooh, that sounds like a really good lineup.
That does, doesn't it? So, yeah, I might be reading this. Oh, I will be reading this. So, then we got Excalibur, which is the original Psylocke, Betty Brant, now back in her white form after 30 years of being Japanese, being a white woman trapped in a Japanese body. She's now the new Captain Britain. Her brother was the original Captain Britain.
Okay.
And this book stars her as the leader, Jubilee, Gambit, Rogue, Kid Omega. Who the hell is Kid Omega? And Apocalypse. Apocalypse, really? Richter.
They're just gonna Slimer Apocalypse. He's gonna be the goofy sidekick now.
I guess Richter. Okay. Oh, that's Richter. That's not Kid Omega. I was reading this one. Okay, Richter. All right. Then we have New Mutants. New Mutants, written by Hickman for the first art. Then he's handing over to Ed Brisson to write. And like you may not know any of these characters, but the New Mutants was a really big book back in the 80s. Like everything from X-Men in the 80s. But the team consists of Sunspot, Wolfsbane, Mirage, Karma, Magic, and Cypher. Do you know any of those people?
I think I know Cypher.
And I know Magic. I know all of them. But like Magic, that's Colossus' sister. So yeah, okay. Then we have Fallen Angels, which is the new Psylocke, which I think is the Japanese body. I think it's the reincarnated Japanese body that Betty Brant had for the last 30 years. So the actual Japanese woman that Betty Brant took over 30 years ago is now going by the name Psylocke. And this team consists of her, Kid Cable, and X-23. And then we have X-Force, which is the final book. And that team, which is written by Benjamin Percy. You know who that is? I'm not for sure who that is.
Not familiar right away.
Okay, so this is the Special Ops team. And it stars Beast, Jean Grey, Sage, Wolverine, Kid Omega, and Domino. So those are the 6 books that they're going with.
6 books. It sounds like a lot.
I mean, it's X-Men. This is what the X-Men do.
Yeah.
I mean, look. If we're being fair, they've had like 7 Avengers books for like the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only right X-Men. Look, this is them going back to prominence, right? This is them like taking their rightful place, in my opinion, as the number 1 team in Marvel. Because it's never really been the Avengers. Like, it stopped being the Avengers about 1976.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's the Avengers always felt more like oh, it's an emergency. We need to have like a special crossover of these characters you wish got to work together all the time.
Right.
Whereas X-Men was fundamentally always a team dynamic. Like, that was the story.
Exactly. And look, I'm going to be honest with you, Cyclops and his crew are way more interested in Captain America, Thor, or Iron Man could ever could be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Rogue is far more interesting than Captain Marvel. No offense, Carol. But okay, so what do you think of this? What do you think of all this X-Manness that's coming towards us right now?
Well, okay. My first main thought is that it has been years, I feel like, since everyone has been really excited for a earth-shattering, paradigm-shifting summer crossover event.
Right.
Like, everyone is like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. I'm totally going to get, like, I was even thinking about reading it.
You should. I wish you would have, so we could have discussed it at least a little bit. Maybe next episode. Kim, you think you can? Maybe...
Well, I mean, the only copy. I mean, I guess I could have gotten it on Comixology, but the only copy I saw of it in real life was like a $40 variant. So, but yeah, I mean, like everyone, I've just felt so much like exhaustion with the events. Like, why are you renumbering things? Why are you rebooting? Why are you relaunching? Like, oh my gosh, why can't you just like let a book go for 30 issues before you cancel it? And I'm like, I think it's really the excitement about Hickman specifically that's driving this. Well, because I've been asking a lot of people.
I mean, no, you're right. Like Bendis even tried, and that shit fell flat. You know what I'm saying? So, like, look, I'm excited. And, like I have my reservations about Hitman just a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. But if there's any person that can deal with X-Men which is this, X-Men deals in big sci-fi, you know what I'm saying? In really big, like, sci-fi ideas. If anybody's going to do that, it's him. And do it well. and he's basically, even the books he's not writing, he's overseeing. So he's almost like the editor for these books. I'm pretty sure there's their own editor, but he's overseeing all these books. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Amanda. Enough about X-Men. But we still on Marvel. We really didn't have any DC news. I feel bad about that, but I couldn't find nothing worth talking about with DC right now.
I mean, I think the biggest DC news I heard is that Hickman was saying that messing around with the X-Men is kind of like the last toy at Marvel he wanted to play with.
Right.
And that after that, all of his interesting ideas would be DC ideas.
That blows my mind because, man, I can imagine the shit he could do. With
I mean, that's the biggest DC news I heard was that, 2 years from now, we might be getting, Hickman doing like a Justice League book.
Or Green Lantern. Oh, my God. Okay.
Control your orgasms.
I know, right? Time's going to stop. No, so I guess before we get to, like, our main book, I know people are like, why is this going on so long? I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the MCU panel. Amanda, they announced a lot of stuff.
They did. I can barely keep track of all of the stuff that they announced.
Okay, so I have a list here, right?
Uh-huh.
Phase 4, which I've learned is only a year and a half, so they're speeding up the phases. They have 10 things for Phase 4. It starts with Black Widow.
Okay.
The movie in 2020, May 2020. Then the Captain America, then the Falcon Winter Soldier show, fall 2020, and the Eternals, November 2020.
Okay.
Then we get Shang-Chi, February 2021. That's like the Black Panther spot. So, you're getting that. Then we getting WandaVision, which I heard is based after the Tom King book.
Okay.
We are getting that spring 2021. We getting Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, May 2021. We getting a Loki TV series, spring 2021. We getting a What If series, summer 2021. A Hawkeye series, fall 2021, and they'll finish up the whole phase with Thor: Love and Thunder, which introduces Lady Thor, November 2021.
Please, she has a PhD. Call her Dr. Thor.
Okay. You know what? I don't want to be sexist. Okay. Dr. Thor. Okay, so, Amanda.
Yeah.
What do you think of all of these announcements?
I think, a lot of it is just stuff like finally.
Right.
Like Hawkeye's been hanging around as like completely wasted so far. Finally, we're gonna get like a good look at Hawkeye.
Apparently, this is based on the Jeff Lemire run, too.
Okay.
Where he's training Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's just that. That's generally my impression.
Okay.
Of overall, and then also Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, yes, please. Like, I now have a reason to make it to, 2022.
Really? Okay. So, okay. Here's where the internet might get mad at me if anybody actually listens to this show. I love the last Thor movie. Even though it's not really Thor, I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Because when they did classic Thor, it wasn't working, right? So I love the last Thor movie. I love the name, Love and Thunder. That's pretty damn metal. It's like a Meatloaf album, actually. That's what it sounds like. It's not even really metal. It's like a Meatloaf album. I love the font. So here's my problem, Amanda.
Uh-huh.
My problem is Natalie Portman. Could you guess why?
Does she have resting sad face?
No, got nothing to do with that. Let me make this clear. Natalie Portman is one of the best actresses of our times. She is supremely talented.
Yes.
But Natalie Portman is like 4'11" and a half and like 98 pounds.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if she should be. I don't know if she should be Lady Thor or Dr. Thor, if you will.
Well, I mean, I have some thoughts about this as well. I agree with you that Natalie Portman is not physically super intimidating.
And here's the thing about Lady Thor, right? Lady Thor.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so have you ever read any of that comic with her in it?
So I read the Jason Aaron run
Right.
right up until around that was happening.
Okay.
Because they changed artists, and I was like, oh, like I really like Jason Rubik's art, and then they changed artists, and I was like, okay, like I'll wait and see what people say about the rest of the series, and it's been on my list to pick up for a while.
Okay, so it's a Shazam situation, as in like when she has the hammer, she grows like 8 inches, and becomes way stronger.
Right.
So she basically becomes like almost a Wonder Woman like figure, maybe not as big as Wonder Woman, but like physically more,
Well, so that's what I'm thinking is, like, they could just cast a second person.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're not. I get what you're saying. You are absolutely right. They could do that, but they're not. They seem so far up their ass that they got Oscar-winning Natalie Portman to come back. Do you see Tiki Waititi? What her name? Tiki Waititi, whatever his name is. Like
Taika Waititi.
Whatever the fuck. Yeah, Taika Waititi. Yeah, Look, I like him. But he like a goofball hand. Look, do you see her holding that hammer? She didn't want to be there. She like, I guess. It looks like she didn't want to do this, but they offer her a lot of money.
I mean,
that's what it seems like. It seems like something it's like something she think might be stupid, but they offer her a lot of money. Like a lot of money. That's what she looked like on that stage. And
all
look,
right, so this finish. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying this is not knocking her. Like this has not got nothing to do with her being a woman or why they're bringing in a Lady Thor. I actually kind of think it's cool that they're bringing in Dr. Thor. I really do think that's cool. but here's the thing. They cast her 10 years ago before there was a Lady Thor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they just stuck with that casting. And apparently he pitched the idea, and it seemed like the only way he was going to get it done if he got Natalie Portman back. Like they wouldn't even dream of recasting.
Okay, so I was going to say that I think Natalie Portman suffers from it's a syndrome best exemplified by Kristen Stewart, actually, which is I don't think Natalie Portman likes being like at Comic-Con. I don't think she likes having lots of people ask her inane questions about like, what dress are you wearing? Or did you enjoy making this movie? Like, of course she fucking enjoyed it. I think that Natalie Portman got so much of that when she was in the prequels, the Star Wars prequels, that she's just like so over it.
Sick of these fucking nerds.
Yeah, and I think that there's this, because Kristen Stewart got a lot of people were like, why can't she just smile when she's doing press for the Twilight movies? And it's like, dude, like she can feel however she wants to about having to do like the press circuit every day for like 3 months leading up to these shitty movies. Like, so I feel like Natalie Portman has just like completely stopped caring about how she looks in public.
I mean, she didn't look mad. That's the thing. She didn't look mad, but she just looked like, kind of like, ooh, this is awkward. Like she had that thing where like your teeth are clenched together and you make that face like, ugh, I'm sorry. Like
I mean, she just came off a month of having to explain on Twitter that she never actually was really dating Moby and that she almost had to call the cops on him for being a creeper, right?
Really?
Like,
Moby? Really?
Oh, Moby the musician-ish guy.
Yes,
right?
the dude that hated Eminem for his offensive lyrics back in the day. Oh, I know Moby.
Yeah. So that guy posted like a photo from, I don't know, like 1999 or something of like when he met Natalie Portman at a concert. And he was all like, oh, yeah, we totally like dated for a summer and it was great. And she's like, I met you twice and you were like a creepy asshole. And it was like this thing she had to deal with. So I just imagine that she is probably just like so sick of everybody's shit.
Which again,
She's gotten so much harassment from nerds. She's gotten way more attention about like everything she's ever done than she needed to. And I'm just like, I just kind of give her the benefit of the doubt that every time I see her out in public doing press, she's having the worst day she's ever had.
But you know what though? I don't. I'm not even saying anything bad about her. Like my concern is not.
Oh, no. It's just like I see what I see because I know like the clip you're talking about where she's like holding the hammer and she's like, "Yay!"
And Tiki Watiki is just like dancing in the bottom of the screen, looking like a boo.
I see her just being like, "I'm sorry, you guys. I really don't have the energy to like pretend that I'm happy to be here right now."
But you know what though? I mentioned that. And like that's part of it, but again, my main thing is she's just so damn little. Like she's just and like she's little in that way. Like I'm not for sure she could bulk up or ever be physically intimidating enough. And like, look, okay, here's the thing, right? Marvel has never really let you down in casting, so I'm sure she'll be great. I'm not even saying she'll be bad, but I look at her, right? I look at that lady, and I'm like,
Well,
Norse
what it
Warrior does not scream in my head. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. What's going on right now is I also am really missing Jamie Alexander as Sif.
Oh my God, you ain't. Yeah, me too.
Because that was great casting, and that is a woman who did feel like a Norse goddess.
She did.
I mean, on the one hand, I'm
better chemistry.
Yes, on the one hand, I'm defending Natalie Portman as like, oh, I'm sure it'll work out fine, but like why not, cast not a delicate Hollywood waif, right? Like, why not cast a woman who actually like looks like she can kick ass? Like,
and why not make her Lady Thor? Like, why does it have to follow? Like, shit, they changed so much shit else from the comics. Is it just because it's Natalie Portman and she has an Oscar? Like I feel like that's why they don't change it.
Yeah.
Because like I would just
I would have loved for this to have been Sif coming back instead.
Yeah, me too. Because there's clearly some unresolved things there with them. But okay, so
there was also a great run right after Journey into Mystery with Kid Loki where Sif went berserker. And like the other Asgardians, I think had to like calm her down or something, and I'm just like, ooh, could you see like Sif as a villain?
That would be cool.
Bring her back. That would be super hot. Sif versus Dr. Thor.
I've always
with Valkyrie.
I've always wanted the Enchantress and
yes,
the Enchantress and whatchamacallit, who's in the last Thor movie that they completely ruined. On one complaint. Not Drax the Destroyer, but the Executioner.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Enchantress and the Executioner are always a duo together, right? And Kyle Urban looks the part. You know what I'm saying? He looks perfect. But they made him goofy as shit. And I'm just like, maybe you could have saved the Executioner for something better than what he ended up being in that movie. We also get our first Asian hero, Shang-Chi. And the 10 Rings, so we get the real Mandarin. Yay, I guess. Since people want to bitch about that. What do you think about that? Are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about the character.
Nobody does. That is perfect.
Yeah. But I am really happy to see them. So, I mean, I feel like one of the strengths of the MCU is where they kind of do sort of like genre filters over their MCU movies.
Right.
Um, and I'm like kind of down with them having like a Hong Kong filter over like the action that we get. Like I would really love to see yeah, I would really love to see just like a different flavor of action in the MCU, and I feel like this could hit that.
All right. So there's two more things we need to talk about. Then we can move on to the book. The
Mm-hmm.
Eternals. The Eternals are the Eternals. The Eternals are the new humans of Marvel. I know that makes no sense. As in, nobody cares about them. There's never been a good story with them. It's almost like the new guys for DC. Like it's just like I'm sure it'll be good, but man, I could care less about the Eternals. Just give me X-Men. Just like they just keep having these fucking weird X-Men adjacent, but
Yeah.
not giving me what I want. Like I read a lot of comic books. I know little to nothing about the Eternals. I know Neil Gaiman wrote a book for him, so that might be worth looking into one year. But man, I just can't find myself getting excited. I mean, look, I'm gonna go see all of it, right? I'm there first day. I'm not excited by it. And then they closed it off with the mic drop. They brought out two-time Academy Award winner Mahershala Ali, and he's playing Blade,
Yeah.
which means, you know what this means, right? Those Netflix shows no longer count. They are no longer canon because he played Cosmo. He played the villain in that.
Okay.
It's just so weird, man, because it's just like everybody seemed to love the Netflix shows more or less, and like they made a big deal about it. But here them just throwing that shit out the window because apparently Mahershala Ali just came straight to ask Marvel for a meeting. He asked for the meeting and said, "Hey, when I'm playing Blade," and Kevin Feige like, "Hey, whenever you want." Two-time Academy Award winner Mahershala Ali. So, what do you think about Mahershala Ali as Blade, as the successor to Wesley Snipes?
Well, so first of all, I'm my I like to remind people that Blade like
Yes,
happened even.
yes. Blade kicked all this off, and people don't like to give Blade its credit.
Right, right. Especially when there were discussions about Black Panther. And I was like, okay, look, I know what you mean when you say that it's great that Marvel's finally doing like a black superhero movie, but like Blade didn't disappear.
And Blade was popular. It wasn't like it was just some small
Yeah.
unknown movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I barely remember those movies, like what happened in them. I think was Ryan Reynolds in like the third one?
He was in the third one.
What? Okay. No. I'm like really excited to go back and rewatch those and like totally get into a Blade MCU movie.
Shoot, a young Norman Reedus, star of The Walking Dead, is in two. Like,
Man, who isn't in those movies?
Ron Perlman, there's a lot of people. Oscar-winning director Guillermo del Toro directed the second movie. So there you go.
Wow. Okay.
So okay, so this thing, right? I'm glad Blade is coming. I'm glad they're doing all this, right?
Yeah.
But I think they might be in danger of this shit getting away from them.
Yeah.
Like, look, the reason people love comic books is like they're kind of kitschy. You know what I'm saying? The fact that, like, you know, there's vampires in the Marvel universe, but there's also magic, but there's also like super science, and there's also gods. So it's like all this stuff don't necessarily, and mutants that people hate even though they love the things. So none of these things mix together. But they've been together so long, people just kind of accept it in the comments. But like, if you just pull back for a minute, like none of this stuff mixed together. But that's kind of why we love comic books, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if normal audiences are going to be as forgiving per se. And I know if they've been forgiving and went along with this, but now we're not scraping the bottom of the barrel per se. but we are now definitely entering like Marvel's weird phase. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, like how are vampires gonna work in this universe? Like you said, or they just been vampires, lurking in the back this whole time. Yeah, but that's really not gonna fit with everything we know. It's kind of like what they did with Captain Marvel by retconning her in the 90s. Like, this really doesn't make any sense. But there's comic books for you.
Yeah, it's sort of maybe that's sort of a corner that they've painted themselves into with Endgame, where it's like if you had a battle where all of the heroes showed up, now any new heroes that they introduce, they have to kind of explain why they weren't there.
And like explain their whole world, because like if you're dealing with vampires and the occult stuff, that's a whole nother thing you have to explain. You know what I'm saying? Like how it works within this world. And like, okay, in Spider-Man, they don't really deal with the fact that all these people come back. And you know what? They're probably not going to deal with the fact that, like, 3.5 billion people came back. It would be chaos and the world wouldn't be right for a while. In Spider-Man, within 8 months, everything is back to normal. And people are like, well, they're not going to question it. And they're like, no, they're not. They're not. Because that's what happened in comic books. New York City get destroyed every other week, and it's back to normal the next week with a hand wave. And it's just like, they've already ran into that problem with the individual movies. Like, hey, why doesn't Thor come help Iron Man? And why doesn't Iron Man come help Captain America? And they have no good reason why they wouldn't, because it makes no sense. Because in real life you would have that, but in comic books that happens all the time. Batman has a whole Justice League at his disposal, but somehow he can go missing for weeks and be kidnapped, and nobody comes look for him. Like, it makes no sense. His best friend is Superman. If Superman wanted to, he could find him. So yeah, that's okay. That's it. Wow, and we have been going long, and we're not done yet. So Amanda, what are we reading this week? Because I'm done. Because I'm tired of talking.
Yeah, so this week we decided to read some old-fashioned Superman.
Right.
We read John Byrne's The Man of Steel from 86.
Yes, 6 issues.
And John Byrne is a name that I was familiar with, but I had actually never read any of his stuff.
Legendary.
I was really impressed. I feel like... So he was the writer and the penciler.
Right. Yes, he was famous as an artist first before he was a writer.
I feel like that kind of made a difference.
I think so too.
And I mean, these days, writers and artists can use technology to communicate directly, but I feel like that probably made an even bigger difference back in the days when they would have had to like mail each other stuff.
Fax, maybe. Was fax around back then? I'm sure it was, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure that someone who was getting paid like freelance or comic book salary didn't really have one. But yeah, so I feel like I'm a better comic book fan now for having gotten to read this.
Okay, and did you like it? Like what are your overall thoughts?
I liked it. It had some aspects of like the Reeves movie.
Right.
That I really liked. It felt very much like a fairy tale because it was sort of told in that style, but it was also kind of a synthesis of like all of the different stories I've heard about Superman.
Mm.
And I really appreciated it because, and I've said this multiple times or places before, women are going to think Superman is hot.
Right.
And, like, that is ignored in a lot of Superman stuff. Yes. And I think it's because guys just kind of, like, forget to write about that.
Right.
So I really appreciated this for having, like, a little bit of chemistry between Lois Lane and Clark and Superman. Like, I feel like that relationship was given enough weight, even in this little origin story.
I agree. So just a little background. This is like the origin story. Now, mind you, it's been done twice after, since then. But like when people talk about Superman origin stories, this is the one they go back to because this is post crisis Superman. Post crisis Superman, Amanda, if you didn't know, is the Superman that me and you have lived with most of our days, right? You
Okay.
know, so this is Superman right after Infinite Crisis when they consolidated the universe, and they needed a retelling of the story, and they tapped John Byrne, who was famous for drawing and plotting the X-Men with Chris Claremont. Then he drew and wrote the Fantastic Four, legendary run on the Fantastic Four. So this was his jump to DC. He was going in with so much fire and flame and clout going into DC. They just gave him Superman for like a few years.
Wow.
Yes. So like, okay, so let's talk about this for a second. I want to talk about the parts on Krypton. He does
Sure.
he does the origin story in 8 pages, and we out, right? And there's a couple of interesting things I want to point out. For one, the fact that Superman is quote unquote not born actually on the planet,
Right.
like just his birth matrix is, which I'm not for sure what that means, and he's not actually born till he gets to Earth. And something which I usually don't comment on, but it kind of annoyed me this time is like just how hysterical Laura is the whole time. I'm just like, woman, get a grip. And I'm just like, because this 1984 and this is what he thought of women. Well, not what he thought of women. I don't want to put that on him. But this is how he thought he should write, like, the wife character.
I mean, I thought that was an interesting. That choice stood out for me, and not just because it was like, oh, she's like a hysterical woman, but it was because it seemed like he was making like a humanist argument. He was setting up Krypton as like this sterile scientific planet where
Right.
people didn't really like love each other or like experience emotions or like the full color of life.
Mm-hmm.
Except apparently they still have hysterical women, right?
Right. That's my point.
So that's why it felt so weird. Is it was like she felt like the wrong character for that point. Like he didn't really fully think out if this is a sterile planet where people gestate their babies in capsules instead of actually getting pregnant.
Right.
Because I feel like it's implied that like they also never had sex. Like they were just selected to like form a new baby together.
Oh, that sucks right there. Oh,
Right.
that
So
sucks.
that's the other thing is like, why are they even married if that was all that happened? So I feel like he just didn't really follow through that premise to its conclusion
Well,
and was like, for this scene, I need to have her be dramatic.
But she's a little too dramatic, and she's kind of mean, and I'm just like, she didn't have to be. I understand being scared because the planet's about to blow up and your child is about to go away, but he had her like she was just nuts. I don't know. It was weird. I think I would like the better interpretation of Laura than what we got.
I feel like it may also have been a choice to mark a stronger contrast with Martha.
Who?
To show
Who?
Martha.
Where do you know that name?
Why do you say that name?
Where do you know that name? No, sorry.
So it may have also been to show a stronger contrast of like his human mother is like kind and patient and understanding, and like his Kryptonian mother was like a crazy lady with a funny hat.
Yeah. The only thing I want to touch on the first issue, I'm shocked by how, like, you know, because this is supposed to be the quote unquote modern version of Superman and the version that we know most of our lives. It's still kind of hokey in a way, because like Ma Kent still makes his suit and come up with the S symbol, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of 1930ish, isn't it? Like, you don't think so?
Yeah, no, that was a bit quaint. But I feel like that was maybe also, I don't know, I feel like coming up with plausible explanations for the costumes, like trying to explain what real materials they were made out of and like how that stuff all works is a more modern concession. But I mean, she did drop a quick line about something like, oh, it seems like the fabric that's right next to your skin like gets some of your protection, like it never seems to tear or
Well,
something.
Amanda, I don't know if you knew this, but in modern day Superman, well, I don't know about now, but he has like a small force field around him that no one sees.
Right, right. I thought that's kind of what it was implying. So it
Yeah,
was like she was like, "Oh, like it's fine for me to just like make this thing because like it just has to like cover you. It's not actually going to do anything." And I was like, "Okay, he thought about it for like 30 seconds. This is good."
and like you said, it's 1984. I'm not going to hold that against him. You know, there's something they would definitely explain now, which they
Right,
have.
they were too busy watching Ghostbusters and E.T. and Indiana Jones and all the other great movies that came out
All right,
to
Top Gun,
worry about
yeah,
things
Top
like,
Gun.
yeah.
There was another trailer too. I can't wait to see that. So look, we go to book two, and we see him fly and save this lady purse, which I love because even in this universe, I mean, even in this new universe, they didn't think to make Superman cool.
Hmm.
Because yes, he stops the purse snatcher, but he also turns down the girl's music because it's too loud. I'm like, oh, look at that! Look at that! He's still everybody's daddy. He is still everybody's daddy. Like even now, like they didn't think maybe they shouldn't. Like they didn't think maybe
Yeah.
like he's still giving lessons and preaching to people. We
Yeah.
also we also
No, no. I loved that.
we are introduced to this version of Lois Lane. So Amanda, I wonder if you noticed this. Do you notice all of Lois Lane's outfits throughout this?
They are
Amazing.
beautiful. Oh my God. And that was what made me go back and double check to see who the artist was because I was like, this is there are only a few books I've read where I've been like, holy crap, like can I get in touch with the artist and find like the photo reference he used
I
for these
just about to
outfits so
say.
I can
I
remember
just
them?
about to say. It's clear to me. John Byrne went through all the fashion magazines that was popular in 1986 and stole those. Well, not stole, but used those as the suits and I mean outfits for Lois Lane. It's clear to me because no comic book writer would ever draw this if they didn't have some type of reference.
Right. But it's giving giving characters really good clothing does so much of the character development for you. Like the little montage page where she's tracking down Superman and she's just wearing
Yes.
like a completely different, really absurd coat in each scene tells me so much about how much money she has, how she likes to spend it, like what her bedroom looks like, because I'm sure it's littered with clothing because she's tried on like five things before she goes out every single day. Like
Lo-
it tells me so much about like how she cares about what other people think of her and what she thinks about seeking like you get her in a page.
Lois Lane is what my people like to call Lois Lane is a bad bitch. She's
Yeah.
bad. She's bad and bougie. She she
Yeah.
she bad and bougie, and I love her for it. And so it's just not me, right? I like wow, like
Like this is a Lois Lane like I want to go get brunch with her.
right.
Like she's got like I don't know, like she feels like a real woman. Like she's got a little bit of sass. She like I don't know. I like her a lot.
Right. I also like the gag where Superman thumps the bank robber, the
Hmm.
women's bank robber. Like, oh, you wouldn't hit a woman. Like, nah, I wouldn't hit a lady. He just flips her and knock her out. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but that was funny because he didn't hit her. He said he didn't
Yeah.
hit her, but he sure did knock that broad out. So look,
Hmm.
at the end of this issue, she drowns herself, and I literally wrote in my notes: did this bitch just drown herself to meet Superman?
I mean, that's what Superman said too. He's like, did this bitch just drown herself to meet me?
So yeah, we was both shocked. And I like how he just sitting on her couch and she comes in like basically in her drawers and heels. Like
Yeah.
Superman, she's literally just offering it to you on the silver platter. He's like, nah, that's okay. I gotta go drink my milk and cookies.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause who takes a shower, piss on a bathrobe, and comes out in heels? Lois Lane does. That's who.
Yeah. No, I'm now having second thoughts about what I wear around the house. This is great.
So we go to issue 3, and it's a Batman story.
Which I was not expecting. I was so surprised.
And like, it's a full-on Batman story, too. It's not even a half a Batman story. This is a Batman story. So, Amanda, I have a problem with this issue. Can you guess what it is?
Not enough Batman?
No, well, you can always use more Batman. It's the fact Superman was going to take him to jail for being a vigilante. I can't even say the word. Can you please say the word for me?
Vigilante?
Thank you. And like, this has always been a problem with like these type of stories where Batman and Superman meet for the first time. That Superman always act like that they're so fucking different. Like, motherfucker, you operate outside the law too.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just goes to this whole thing about Superman being everybody's dad.
Well, I mean, I almost feel like Superman's problem was actually that Batman's more of like a bully.
Huh.
Like he's like, oh, you should change your city through like hope, not fear. And Batman's like, I don't think you really fundamentally understand human beings.
I think you definitely don't understand Gotham City. Like, you really don't understand. Like, do you see this place? Like, literally, we on the same coast. There's no sun. There's never sun here but Superman.
Yeah.
It's just dark and overcast. That's all we got here.
Yeah. Speaking of fashion, again, the costume for the villain of the week, Magpie.
Yes.
Magpie.
Yes.
That was like insanely good too. She had like fishnets and like a Jane Fonda workout outfit with like insane shoulder pads and like a mohawk wig.
Yes, with these
and the pirate boots.
Oh yeah, the Buccaneer heels. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot, and it worked. It worked.
So anyway, look, they stop a bad guy, and Batman threatened to blow up somebody innocent. Come to find out, the only person he was going to blow up was himself.
Yeah.
Did you notice the shitty car he was driving in? Like that's supposed to be a Batmobile.
I wasn't sure if that was the Batmobile or if it was just his mobile crime lab. Because I could totally see Batman, or I guess Bruce Wayne, having like a junker car parked somewhere downtown that like people would just ignore, and like you open up the trunk and he's got like a supercomputer in the back.
You know, I never
that he
thought
can
of
use
that.
whenever he needs.
I never thought of that. See,
Okay.
what I thought was, honestly, is that like I'm starting to think like maybe Batmobiles wasn't a huge thing until the Tim Burton movies.
Oh, maybe until they discovered they could make toys.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I don't know because you know there was the one from the '60s, but like I don't remember no other Batmobile like between then and like. You know what I'm saying? To the Tim Burton one. Now there's a million looking Batmobiles. I just assumed maybe that was his. Because, you know, this is the beginning of their new universe. Maybe at first they thought they were going to have Batman be even more, like, gritty. So they just gave him, like, a box.
Sedan.
Yeah, a box Chevy. They gave him a box Chevy. Like, you know what I'm saying? A black box Chevy was going to be his car.
A black Volvo, something nice and safe.
Yeah. So yeah, they put Magpie in jail. Superman said he feels sorry. Batman said, yeah, I feel sorry too, but I feel more sorry for her victims. And that pretty much sets up this relationship. Because just to let you know, before this, Batman and Superman were best friends and they didn't have any problems. But obviously within this new universe, and they did this very well, is they setting up basically this relationship they're going to have going forward for the rest of their career.
Yeah.
Of like this, and that wasn't a thing before they rebooted the universe in 86. So we move to book 4, and I just have this as a note: shoulder pads.
Yeah, shoulder pads.
Oh, so like the dress itself is really nice. I like the dress. I like the shoes. But man, those are some shoulder boy. She got some heavy duty football shoulder pads going on with that dress. It's the most 80s thing in here.
It is. And again, just like so much credit to John Byrne for actually looking up a dress that women would want to wear. Like I would if you just tone down those shoulder pads a little bit, people would wear this like right now.
Right, right. And again, he has to be stealing this, right? I'm pretty sure he's stealing this from fashion books.
Well, yeah, and even the line she drops because this specific dress is like a plot point too
Right,
because Lex Luthor sent it to her to wear for this specific event that she was invited to kind of as a reporter because I guess he's got a thing for her.
right.
And she's like, okay, well, like, it's a really nice dress. Like, I'll wear it to the party because who wouldn't? And then he's like, oh, no, 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 I want you to keep it. And she's like, oh, I can't keep it. And so she just takes it off immediately. But
That seemed a bit dramatic for her just to be butt ass naked on this boat full of big wigs. I'm just saying.
I
I,
mean, she had to make a point. But before that, she says that she had to go out and get $100 haircut so that she would look okay wearing this dress. And I thought that that was such a like who was John Byrne married? Like was Mrs. Byrne helping him out with these? Did he have a million sisters? It's just well it's also just funny because he had the hysterical caricature of a woman earlier in the book and then he totally nails Lois Lane. Um
so look, I want to show you how unsexist I am. Now look, I'll talk about women being pretty in comics and how I pretty much prefer that, right?
mhm.
I'm really upset they didn't make Lex Luthor attractive. Like this Lex Luthor is icky. Like I much rather prefer like the suave, like thinner, kind of tall, bald Lex Luthor, like from the
Mhm.
animated series and like from the comics.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this like pudgy, sweltering businessman Luthor.
Yeah.
Just his look, just
Yeah, he does come across looking. I feel like he looks a little bit more like the '80s movie Lex Luthor.
he does. He looks a bit more like Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Only better because Gene Hackman was a terrible Lex Luthor. Yeah, I said it. Go ahead.
Uh, but I mean that also kind of and I'm not like criticizing Lois for this, but I feel like part of her repulsion of him isn't only moral. Like if he was a better looking guy, I feel like she would have had like more trouble with her like feelings about the situation.
I mean, that's fine. They don't say nothing bad. Hell, guess what? Guess what? It's hard to let hot people go sometimes. All right, look, it just is. It's just life. Like
Yeah.
that's not shallow. That's just how it goes. Pretty people tend to get more things.
Yeah.
So
Um, but I'm sorry, we've skipped a little ahead a little bit because I was really excited about this dress
go
being a
ahead. Go ahead. No,
plot
no, no.
point.
Go ahead. Talk about the
Um,
dress.
well, so there were two really interesting character beats in the getting ready for this party scene.
Right.
One is Superman has to shave.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd heard this as a joke before, people being like, "Oh, like how does Superman shave if like he's, invincible?" And there's this whole elaborate answer in here of like he has to use the special
Mm-hmm.
reflective metal from his spacecraft to bounce his laser vision onto his face so he can shave.
Right.
So I hadn't really appreciated that like asking that question may have actually been a joke about how unnecessary this was, or this scene may have been an answer to that joke.
I mean, look. To me, it makes sense. Like he has to shave somehow, right?
Yeah. Well, I
And,
mean, and it's giving a beat of like his life can't be normal,
mm-hmm.
right? Like every time, every day he's Superman and it's not normal. Um, I also like right after he's shaved, he comes out and Lois Lane's sitting there in this fancy party dress lifting weights
I know, right? Like legs,
because she's bored.
cut her legs wide open, just like, oh wow, that is just a weird pose. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, because she's in a dress. It's just like,
Yeah.
Jesus, Lois. The ship get taken over by terrorists. They
Yes.
throw
Yes,
Clark Kent.
it's a party on like a yacht and they get attacked by pirates or something.
Right. And they throw Clark Kent over the edge. Superman comes up, and Lois Lane takes a gun and just starts shooting. I'm like, whoa, that was a thing. And she's basically naked, just in this overcoat with a Uzi.
Yeah.
That's a rap cover somewhere. That's somebody's rap cover right there.
No, it's definitely not what I was like if you had told me before you handed me this book, oh, well, you're going to get Lois Lane naked wearing some guy's jacket holding an Uzi taking down terrorists, I'd be like, "What?" I thought this was a Superman book, not like a Lois Lane what if. Um yeah, it's great.
And they arrest Liz because apparently he could have stopped it, and he didn't.
Yeah.
But really, he set it up. They knew he set it up. He would be in more trouble.
Yeah.
And apparently, this is like the origin of why Lex Luthor hates Superman.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he was like, oh, Superman, like that was a test to see if you were as good as they say. And now that I know you're good enough, I want to hire you.
Yeah.
As though he thought that Superman was the sort of guy who needed money.
Or who could be bought. Yep. Okay, so we go to the 4th issue. So apparently Lex been trying to kill Superman and ain't nothing working, and Supes just can't quite pin it on Lex, even though he know Lex is doing it. And basically Lex creates a clone Superman that turns into famous Superman villain Bizarro. Amanda, what do you think of Bizarro in this story?
It was he was gone too fast.
Right.
And it wasn't clear to me entirely if he was supposed to be Bizarro or if he was just like a Superman clone.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was really interesting that they implied that they could capture not only like his physical attributes, but also like his skills and his memories in a clone.
I mean,
I think that just kind of shows like the state of 80s science fiction where that was like something common.
And like they didn't take his blood or nothing. Like, you know, like I'm like you, like all he did was stand in the room, like they didn't like they got DNA. Like if they would have like if they got some of his actual DNA, I could see that maybe. You know what I'm saying? But they're like, yeah, we just captured his essence while he was standing in the room. Like that makes no sense to me. I mean, none of this makes sense, but it's almost like a bridge too far.
Yeah.
Lois also has a hot blind sister, apparently, that tries to commit suicide.
Because she's been blind for like a month or something.
Yeah, like man, lady, come give it some time. And the thing is, the blindness might not even have been permanent. They wasn't even for sure. So like, she didn't even give a chance for it, like to.
Yeah, it seemed like this entire issue was like rushed.
Yeah.
And part of that is, I think, compared to the rest of this particular book, it does feel rushed. But also, I feel like some of that is our modern sensibilities, where this single story arc of like Lois Lane's sister being blind and Bizarro showing up would be like 10 issues.
Mm-hmm.
It would be spread out over 2 trades, maybe 3.
Right.
And here we get it all in like 12 pages.
Yep. Batman explodes on Bizarro, and somehow that cures Lois Lane's vision.
Yeah.
I mean not Lois Lane's sister's vision.
Yeah. Superman punches him so hard he turns him to dust, and the dust cures her sister. And they're like, well, maybe Bizarro knew that the whole time.
I mean, like there is one of the modern day takes on Bizarro is that he's not actually a bad guy. He's just well, I can't use that word anymore because it's not fashionable. But he's not he's mentally challenged, as we should say.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like he's well meaning, but he's strong like Superman. So you can't be well meaning and strong like Superman.
Yeah, yeah.
So also, it says in this book, like Lois said, "Oh, I wanted to be kissed by Superman for the last 5 years, but not like this." I'm like, this book has jumped 5 years.
Was it 5 years?
That's what Lois said. Lois said she's been wanting to get kissed by Superman for 5 years now. That was her words.
Yeah. 5 years. Wow. I feel like when I read it, I feel like I just edited it mentally to be like 5 months.
It says, and I quote, "I don't believe it. 5 years I've been dreaming of being kissed by Superman. Now this thing."
Wow. Okay. Well, okay.
so so let me ask you this: is each one of these issues taking place like 1 year at a time?
I mean, I feel like that may be what's going on. I definitely have gotten that there's like some time, more time is elapsing between the issues than just like a day, like they're not continuous.
Because this is very much a DC thing, right? They're gonna restart their universe, but they won't do it like all the way. And I thought it was just a new 52 problem, but apparently this has always been a problem. As in, they won't completely restart the universe. They still want their heroes to somehow be established instead of them being new. Like, like even in New 52, right? Like everything in the New 52 take place 5 years ahead of time, while the Justice League took place when they first meet. That was the conceit. So like, so they can be established. So like they've always been scared to fully reboot, as you can see.
I mean, I feel like there's something about knowing that like I mean, it's sort of the Captain Marvel movie problem. Like I didn't really go into Captain Marvel wanting to see her run around underpowered the whole time. Like I kind of wanted to just jump to the end and watch her be like sparkly and punch things. So I can appreciate them wanting to give you like the stories that you came for, but yeah, the time jump feels a little bit weird there, especially since the nature of their relationship doesn't feel like it's changed that much.
Right.
Like 5 years is a really long time for will they, won't they?
Yeah. So now we jump to the final issue, and this is where Superman learns his history.
Right.
From Krypton.
Except, of course, Lex Luthor learned that Superman was an alien in the previous episode when...
Right.
Because that was the problem with the clone. That's why it became Bizarro instead.
Uh-huh.
Was because he was an alien.
So, he meets his... Did they ever actually date, or were they just friends? He meets Lana Lane after not seeing her for like 10 years.
It sounds like they were dating because she was his date for the not quite homecoming sock hop.
Right.
And like when he won the football game and his dad was like, "Son, we need to have a talk about humility or something." He was going to meet up with her after, so I feel like they were kind of dating.
Okay. And she basically just lays all this shit on him that is not his fault, but he feel really bad about.
Yeah.
And I don't know how do you feel about this female portrayal, Amanda?
I mean, I feel like I don't feel like it's bad.
Okay.
I feel like I'm just kind of more interested in why he thought this was an important like anecdote to include in his Superman origin story.
Right.
And I feel like it kind of goes back to that like Superman is a desirable guy.
Mm-hmm.
And part of his shtick is that he doesn't he doesn't quite appreciate that, and so he definitely doesn't abuse it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think I think it's interesting because it shows that it shows that Clark Kent still has like life problems. Like he still has problems that he can't solve by hitting, you know?
Right. Right.
Um,
I also like her outfit that she's in the flashback.
yeah.
The colors, the dark purple with the light
Yeah.
purple pants and shoes with the pink shirt. That's a nice, good color combination. Amanda, I really like clothes and colors. I don't know if you knew that. Uh, I noticed
I did
these.
know that.
Yeah, I know. I'm being funny. But yeah, so he learns all his history. Like apparently someone took the spaceship, but like he learns all his history. And in an interesting turn at the end of this book, he says none of that shit matters. He's American now. That's all that does matter.
Well, I mean, going back to the very first, like the epilogue on Krypton, his hysterical mother was like, "Oh, okay. Well, first of all, she had like a freaking conniption when she saw like a shirtless human man, tending the fields or something, and so she was like, "Oh, I hope that our son will go and like tame these savage humans."
Right.
And I mean, I feel like it's this very like nature versus nurture thing.
Mm-hmm.
And showing that despite the fact that like most of the incredible things about Superman are his nature, like his nurture is also like super, super important.
Right. And by the way, that scene right there, I was just thinking to myself, I know I'm terrible for this. It's just like she was turned on and she didn't know how to handle it. You see like a muscular man.
Oh yeah, the yeah. There was definitely that was my thing too. And like her face is hilarious. She's like, "Oh." And I'm like, is that a good O or a bad O?
Oh, look, she was feeling something she ain't never felt before. It's like, what is this feeling? It must be bad. Okay, I'm sorry. You know me, I gotta bring it down at least once. So, yeah, so I also think it's weird how, like, okay, so, like, he was old. Like, his parents was old when he was, like, 18. But when they got him, they wasn't that old. I was like, I know 18 years is a long time.
Yeah.
But they aged a lot in them 18 years.
Well, I mean, chasing around a Superboy is probably really hard.
Chasing around a Superboy. That's the name
And we don't know what that Kryptonian radiation was doing to him that whole time.
We don't know. But personally, I think it's just, another, like, piece of evidence that, like, comics are obsessed with like, super kindly old people. Like, you gotta be super old and super kindly. Like, Aunt May is, like, 90, and there's no sense if that was Peter Parker's aunt, why she would be that old. Like, how old was Peter's parents, for Christ's sakes? So yeah, man, I think that's it. So, would you recommend this origin story?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We talk sometimes about how it's harder to read old comics, and I think this just really shows that like the quality comics are still quality comics no matter what.
Right? I mean, this was around the same time as like Daredevil Born Again. Also another comic that we loved,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. And that was about Frank Miller. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. I think there's 2 more Superman origin stories that at some point I'd like to get to, and like we could compare them all and see which one is the best, because there's actually like 2 more definitive ones that's been done over the last this is 86, so the last 33 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's it. I think Amanda, why are we reading this episode?
Okay. So I got a listener recommendation for our next book. This is a kind of an indie horror story, I think.
Okay.
It's called Through the Woods by Emily Carroll.
All right.
And it looks like, so when I searched for this, I started getting like Google was telling me to just borrow it from my library. We didn't think this was on Comixology though, right?
I didn't see it, but I'll look again. It seems to be everywhere else. So I'm shocked that it's not on
Yeah.
Comixology. So
Yeah.
I'll look again. So if it is everywhere else for about $13.99, it seems.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so yeah, I'll be really interested to I think this will be I'm getting kind of a monstrous vibe from it actually.
Ooh, monstrous. Oh man, yeah. So
So maybe just something like weird and creepy.
right. And Amanda, if they want to reach us, where could they?
We are on Twitter as Comic Book Club 52, like 52 weeks in the year, which we just finished.
Woo!
You can also email us, comicbookclub52@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook as the Comic Book Club, the one that was obsessed with Ghostbusters and is now trying to slowly gain back sanity by reading literally anything else.
Don't worry, we'll be doing Ninja Turtles soon.
And then also, if you follow me or Jamil personally, this recommendation actually came from Instagram. So anywhere you can find us is good.
Right. So, Amanda, again, happy anniversary. We didn't really get the time to talk about what this show means to us and what it's done. We'll do that next episode. But, Amanda, thank you for being on this trip with me.
Yeah, no problem.
So far, I hope we're doing this for years to come.
Me too.
You don't sound too sure about that.
I hope we're doing this in some form for several years.
Yes, me too. I really do enjoy this. This is the highlight of my month. Twice a month, this is the highlight of it. I usually can't wait to do this show. So, Amanda, thank you. We'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'm Jamil Payne.
I'm Amanda Comey.
And we are out.